podcast can take this walk with me.
Welcome back to the Three Parallels podcast with your host, the brother Dr. Jason Branch, where we rediscover who we were, we embrace who we are, and we make room for who we're trying to become. If that is you, you are in the right place at the right time, because we are coming to you live from Battlecat Studios. Where's Battlecat Studios? It's in the basement in the heart of Gator University. That's where we are now. If you don't know, now you know. If you need to know, now I got it just for you. I'm an executive performance coach, and my job is to help people just like you help yourself. Who are people like you? The listeners. If you're a high performer, overachiever, perfectionist, whatever it is that you're doing, you do on a high level, on all levels, this is for you, especially if you're part of the BIPOC community, you work in a helping profession. My job is to help us help each other. And I have systems, formats, frameworks to help us help ourselves. If you want some, come get some. Link in the description. You can get all the info you need. To my listeners, Gator Nation, what's happening, baby? It's season 4. I hope you're excited because I know I am. And if you're not, that means you got to check you out. Bring you in to the front of the congregations and see what's going on with you. Your ass. First name yo, last name ass. Today, we're talking about mental health and wellness. Why? Because May is Mental Health Awareness Month or Mental Health Month. I don't know. Somebody made it up. And I really don't like all these made up random months, but there are some random made up months that I can stand behind. This happens to be one of them. Because on today's show, I'm going to talk to you about counseling, wellness, mental health, and who better to talk about it than me? I'll wait. There's nobody better because nobody talks about it the way that I do. And I'm a unicorn, as you know, but I'm black with a gold horn. Because I am a clinician, a helping profession, been in the game for over 20 years. I'm a clinician who helps clinicians. I'm also a clinician who has a therapist myself. Big shout out to my therapist, Dr. Ho. What up, Ho? Hope all is well, boo-boo. Can't wait to see you in the fall or whenever you get here. And if you know, you know, and if you don't, go back to the previous episode and you know about this conversation. I feel like I have a lot of different conversations with the listeners, those who are avid. Gator University. What up, Gators? Baby Gators, salamanders. So a lot of this stuff, I'm just going with the flow. And for those who don't know, like this, what does this mean? What is this about? Go back to previous episodes. Everything will make sense. But if you've been rocking, everything you're just catching on, you already know. So I'm building something in real time. If you want some, come get some because I don't run out. Nobody does, if we're being honest. But I do if I'm not aware of who I am or where I am. And that's why this show is so important. So let's dive in. We're talking about mental health and mental wellness from an expert. Yes, I'm an expert, and I can stand on that now because I have evidence. So let's make this thing real easy. If you've never experienced therapy for yourself ever in life, this is your opportunity to do so. Meaning, many of us cannot participate in therapy if we've never considered it. And there are so many people that you know, or you yourself, have never considered therapy, which means you'll never go. I cannot go to therapy if I never considered it for myself. I may consider it for everybody and their mama. And if that's you, I'm talking about you, okay? Come to the front of the congregation. Come on in. Therefore, I'm talking about you because many of us have all this advice and suggestions and what other people should do, but don't consider it for ourselves. And to me, people like you need therapy the most. And I usually don't say people need therapy because you really don't need therapy because I can't need something that I never had, number one. Number two, I can't need something that's not a part of my lifestyle. That's number two. All right. So understand that therapy is for everybody, but everybody doesn't take advantage of it because we people. And you know, people be people. So I go to therapy, and many people go to therapy for those who don't go to therapy. If that is you, I am talking about you. I need you to know that. Okay? I'm not going to shy away from them, not going to hide about it. Because the theme for May, not only is it Mental Health Month, but the theme is Effort Month. The theme for May is effort. And what effort means, I'm trying to be a little more, discreet. But what effort means is I'm going to stop caring about the things that I usually care about. I'm going to start giving less F's in these streets, okay? So for the entire month, I would challenge you to give less F's. And that's exactly what I'm doing on this episode because I don't care whatever you think or what you perceive about this episode. I'm just going to give you me. You can do whatever you want to do with it. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So let's dive in. Oh, by the way, Cash App is available. So you can hop in the Cash App 3 Parallels Podcast on Cash App. If ever you feel the mood to give, feel free to do so. So let's dive in. And I like to talk about this because I got to go from the outside in. And before I go to the outside in, I want you to consider where you are right now and the people that surround you. So if you don't have a notebook, this is your opportunity to get one. Go get your notebook. The Gator Skills Journal is available now on Amazon. If you want it, go get it. If you don't have it, then whatever you got to write with, go get it because we're going to take some notes. So during my time at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, a graduate student, I'm in the clinical mental health counseling program. I'm a second year master's student. I'm about to graduate. And I was told throughout my time in my program, hey, as a therapist in training, you need to experience therapy for yourself. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll go. Scheduled appointment 3 times, didn't go at all. Sound familiar? Again, this is us, and I ain't talking about a TV show. So I scheduled, cancel. And by the 3rd time, I decided, okay, I need to go and experience therapy for myself. Mind you, I'm a master's student learning how to be a therapist myself. The only Black male there. There are no other Black men in my program at the time, which is the norm. Another conversation for another day. So being the only one there, I didn't really have examples to choose from to look at. So I just did whatever I felt was comfortable. So what was comfortable is not going to therapy, because that's many of us. Because I cannot consider going to therapy. I can't go to therapy if I never considered it. And for many of us, we've never considered therapy. Why? Because of all the things we were taught and told about therapy. That's not true. Because if it was true, more of us would experience therapy than those who are not. And I'm thankful for social media and then the wave of our society and our life right now, because I've heard more about mental health publicly now than I ever have in my entire career. Ever. And I love that, because more people are considering therapy now than they ever have before. Back to the story. So I'm walking around on campus trying to find out where this counseling office is, because it's in the wellness center at UAB. So I'm walking around campus, watching my back, seeing who sees me going to this building to go get therapy for the first time. Not knowing, ain't nobody paying attention to me or care. But I did. So I get to the office. They do the intakes, pass me the intake form, and say, hey, this is the intake form before you see a therapist. So I grab the intake form and I put my information down. First name, last name, Clark Kent. I've been Superman. So I'm sitting up here signing in, doing this intake, talking about some of my real stuff, but using a alias, a fake name, because that's how much shame I had around the stigma and stereotype of mental health and counseling, not knowing it at the time. And because of my beliefs about therapy, I'm expecting some random white man or white woman to show up as my therapist. So coming into this experience, I was already filled with these beliefs that don't serve me, but that's all I had at the time. And when it was time for me to meet with my therapist for the first time, who walked out was this Black woman. And I'm like, yo, who is you? What are you doing here? Looking like Oprah cousin, right? Because that's what it was like. Hey, Oprah cousin. I go in her office. We sit down. We talk a bit. And before you know it, man, I'm telling this woman everything. Things that I had hidden, things that's been in my basement, things that have been in my past that I never talked about. And it was an amazing experience because I experienced therapy for the first time. Mind you, I'm at the top of my game as a therapist in training, but as a client, zero experience. And man, it opened my whole mind to what this profession actually is. And my experience in therapy really opened my awareness, because therapy was about me learning about me. It was about me sharing things I never shared before. It was about me rediscovering who I actually am. Are you seeing 3 parallels, or is it just me? I feel as though the show started then, even though I didn't know it, because there were 3 parallels: who we were, who we are, who we're becoming. So my past self is who I talked about. My current self is what I shared. My future self, I didn't even know existed. I just knew who I was and who I am. And I came in as I am, but we talked all about who I was. That was therapy for me. And by the end of that session, I knew this is exactly what I'm supposed to do for the rest of my life. And I need to go to therapy more often. And I'm supposed to do this because I was thinking about, for me as a black male therapist in training and experienced therapy for the first time in my master's program, and all of the stigma, stereotypes, and beliefs that I had about the profession, even though I was learning about it, prevented me from showing up as my authentic self. Hashtag Superman. So, therefore, this experience led me to see that we, as black men specifically, need help. We as black folks or people of color off the top need help because of how systems, society, and everything else is. But I knew right then that us as black men, we need help. Because here I am as a black man learning all these things, and I have a different perspective than most, but that perspective did not take away the stigma, stereotype, and beliefs that I had about therapy. Because in my upbringing, my background, my culture, we ain't talking about therapy. That's the last thing we talking about. We talking about Jesus, damn no. You know, I don't need a therapist. I got Jesus. And what I learned is you can have Jesus and a therapist. Facts. But who cares about facts when you in your feelings? I just want to talk about it. So what happened during this experience is I learned that people don't go to therapy because of what they believe about therapy or therapist. And what I learned about beliefs is just that, a belief. It's not a fact. But I can believe something so long that it becomes a fact to me even when it's not. Let's break this down real simple. Get your notebook. I mentioned it. I like to break this thing down. You've heard it before if you've been on this show. If you haven't, welcome. 2 + 2 = 4. Write it down. 2 + 2 is 4. Probably don't mean nothing to you. Okay. But now, next to that 2 + 2 is 4, I want you to write 2 + 2 is 5. If you're driving, don't write. If you're doing something else, don't do nothing. Stop. 2 + 2 is 5. What's the difference between these two equations? Any idea? Oh, thank you. One's a fact and one's a belief. That's it. That's all. 2 + 2 is 4 is a fact. How do we know? Because it can be proven by evidence, by factual information. I don't care how you slice it up. The answer will be the same. However, 2 + 2 = 5 is a belief, which means it depends on who it's coming from or what's being said. That's what makes it a belief. So you would say, 2 + 2 is 5. That's ridiculous. That's wrong. It's this and that. No, it's actually just a belief. Because 99.9% of the things that we do in our life is based off of beliefs. I just want to talk about it. You can do whatever you want to do with this, okay? I just got to give you this because it's Mental Health Month. I want you to get your shit together. Your head, your heart, your ass, get it together, okay? If you haven't been told, I'm telling you now, let's get it together. Because I learned that therapy changes people, places, and things for you and for others. My experience in therapy for years, since I started when I was a master's student all the way till now, and I want to shout out my therapist if I haven't shouted her out yet. Dr. Ho. What up, Ho? I hope you're good. I see you in the fall when you are on this show because it's going to happen. I truly believe that. So, back to the story of us being us. 2 + 2 is 5 is a belief. 2 + 2 is 4 is a fact. Facts is based off of evidence. The best way you can get evidence from human being is their behavior, not what they say. It's what they do. And if you've never been to therapy, it's because of what you believe about therapy, not the facts. So let's break down some of these beliefs about therapy and why people don't go. It costs too much. It actually doesn't. Therapy is actually very affordable, especially now because there's so many different ways and modalities that you can get involved in therapy, such as Talkspace or BetterHelp or Headway. There's a lot of different companies out there. So Google it or find out what's out there that is affordable. There's some therapy that do pro bono services, discounted services. You can hop on Psychology Today, www.psychologytoday.com, enter your zip code, and find a therapist that you think is a good fit. People have profiles up, they got videos, testimonials. It's so much information out there, but it don't mean anything if I'm not looking or I haven't considered. So my beliefs is what keeps me stuck because as I know about human beings, 3 parallels to who we were, who we are becoming, and the other parallels are related to our house, the attic, the living room, the basement. The attic is where you spend your most time. The living room is where you are presently, but I can't be present because I'm focused on the future of the past. And then the basement where all the magic happens. All the things that's happened to you, through you, for you, experiences and all, from birth to where you are right now, is what we throw in that basement. We lock it up and we never go back. The reality is, you never going back and you putting that stuff down there. You're putting different versions of yourself down there. And that person, little you, him, her, them, all caps, no blue hat, the little version will show themselves up in your living room when those needs are not being met. The healing has not happened. So you ever have an experience that happened and you have a reaction instead of a response? That's your old self. That's the little girl, the little boy that was hurt, that experienced something that's coming back out to get theirs in the worst way possible because it's the most childish way possible. In my humble, in my humble. So you ever had that moment where you is scorched, scorched earth. You just have a moment and you wreak havoc. And then when you come to, you recognize how much damage you did. And for many of us that caused the damage, we disappear. We ghost. Healthy is I'm going to come back and repair and rebuild. But I don't know how to do that because I've never been taught or told. Therapy is a place that you can go where you learn about yourself and what works and what doesn't. So therefore, I'm not spending time with people, places, and things that do not fill my cup. But if I don't know that, that means my boundaries suck, number one. And I'm just allowing people, places, and things to infiltrate and take over my greatness. I truly believe therapy is a way that you can change all aspects of your life if you're willing to do the work and it's a great fit, meaning you have a great therapist that's a good fit. To me, a great therapist is a good fit. And sometimes we outgrow our therapists. So if you've been working with this therapist for years and y'all kikiing, having a good time, you probably ain't doing therapy no more. You paying for a friend because therapy is hard. It is hard, man. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done in life. And it's one of the greatest things ever because the harder it is, the more you're working. That means it's work. If you having fun in therapy and that's all you doing is having fun, you ain't working. Don't get me wrong, it's hard and it's fun. But if you only having fun, you're paying for a friend. And you got a horrible therapist. I'll say that. And I do not budge on it. No hesitation. Because there's three types of therapists in this world. You got horrible ones, which we ain't finna talk about because everybody already talking about them. You got good ones who just do the bare minimum. They just do enough. And then you got great ones. Great ones are the ones who do the work on themselves. That's what makes a therapist great. They know themselves very well. They've done the work on themselves. They go to therapy themselves to help other people help themselves. That's what makes a therapist great. So if you don't have a great therapist, time to fire the current one. Also, if you never experienced therapy before and you need help, you want a consultation, you can connect with me. If you're located in New Jersey, Georgia, Pennsylvania, holla at your boy. If you're in need of coaching services, which is very different, holla at your boy. I don't care where you at. So the opportunities are there. We're not taking advantage of them because we don't know how. We don't know ourselves. And this is a way that you can begin to get to know you. So these beliefs, these myths about therapy, number one, it's not affordable. Number two, I don't want people to think I'm crazy. People think you're crazy anyway. People gonna think what they want anyway. What difference does it make? And the reality is, and these are all jokes because I don't even use the word crazy like normally because crazy I've never seen to have a positive spin on it. Crazy has a negative connotation to it. It's not a compliment. So I don't even use the word crazy. And this has been a statement of mine for a while, so much so that my friends, inner circle, they know not to use the word crazy around me. If they do, it's a moment of my bad, Jay. Got too excited. Because the reason for this as an educator is it would be me perpetuating the stigma and stereotype around therapy by using the word crazy. I'm using it in this just for the example, but on average, I don't use this word because of the connotation. I'm very mindful now. So my experience in therapy helped me see things differently, which gave me a different perspective. Therapy offers perspective. Okay. Perspective gives you a chance to pivot, shift, do something different, move differently. I can't do that if I'm not willing to become comfortable being uncomfortable. We as human beings love comfort. Therapy is uncomfortable as shit. That's why we ain't signing up for it. It's too uncomfortable. I'm scared. I ain't doing that. Mm-mm. But in order to change, this is a way, not the only way, but a way for you to change. If you want some, come get some. I mean this from the bottom of my heart in the most respectful way possible. So, the the beliefs and myths that you have about therapy is just that, a belief, which means 2 + 2 = 5, what I just talked about. Understand that many of us, 99.9%, and I want to give you evidence in a moment, live by these beliefs. This is why we don't go to therapy, because I don't understand why you would even consider your physical health, like going to the gym, working out, eating better, and not consider your mental. It does not make sense to me, but it makes all the sense in the world when we talk about human beings, because human beings will always do human things. People be peopling, y'all. People be peopling. In my belief, any difficult situation you ever had with a person is based on their shit. We all have it. There is nothing wrong with having shit. Okay. You have it. We all do it. We all have it. The shit is usually in the basement, that dark spot that I mentioned before. And there's nothing wrong with having the stuff because we all have it. The issue is when we put our ish on somebody else. So anytime you've ever had somebody throw their ish on you, understand that's theirs. And for many of us, we own it as our own. Therapy gives you tools to not do that anymore, or not as much. So, using this analogy, 2 + 2 = 4, 2 + 2 = 5, I want you to consider all the beliefs, or as many that you can, that no longer serves you. Here's an example. Get your notebooks. I'm pretty sure there's a room, drawer, closet, garage, house, something that's located somewhere in your house, like your literal home, that's designated for things that do not work. A junk drawer, right? I'm sure you got it. If you don't have it, you have other things like it, such as clothes in your closet that still got tags on it you never wore, bunch of shoes, never wore, constantly buying stuff, Amazon packages and boxes just constantly showing up. There's a reason for all the shenanigans. And part of the shenanigans is it was a legacy of this, meaning the junk drawer represents legacy, meaning the gift that keeps on giving. If you have a junk drawer, which I'm sure you do, anywhere that you keep junk or things that you don't need, it's a stance that my belief, I'm going to use one of these things one day. So let's talk specifically about the junk drawer in your kitchen. When are you ever going to need an expired coupon? When can you use a dead battery? When can you use a remote control to a TV you don't own anymore? When can you use the instructions to a microwave you don't have anymore? When can you use a quarter of the stuff that's in this junk drawer? Never. But the belief is I'm going to need it. I'm going to use it one day. The fact is you haven't used it since birth, because that's how long that junk drawer has been in your life, since birth. And it's followed you from everywhere that you've ever gone in life to where you are right now, listening to this show, thinking about what's in your junk drawer. If that is your little junk drawer, I got life work for you, because this show is not just to listen. This show is to listen and do. So the first step in your therapeutic journey is to get rid of one thing that's in your junk drawer that does not serve the current or future version of you. It could be a bread tie. It could be a menu, ketchup packet, Taco Bell packet, a bill, a letter, whatever. Get rid of one thing and see what happens. Because the belief is I'm going to need it. The fact is you'll never need it because it doesn't work anyway. Now, if that's our literal junk drawer, which we can get up right now and walk to and remove something, imagine the figurative one that we also carry from birth to where we are right now. The figurative one is our house, the basement, where anger, manipulation, never apologizing, controlling behavior, ghosting, lack of empathy, jealousy, envy, passive aggressiveness, frustration, you name it. Whatever BS stuff that you experience or you offer to somebody is based off of what's in your basement that's never been resolved. because we repeat what we know. So if you're yelling and screaming, you're losing your temper, you stabbing folks, slicing them up, you done killed somebody. And if you done murdered somebody, you listen to this show, thank you for being an avid listener. Shout out to the murderers. Why? Because there are people too with their own shit. My belief, everybody that's in jail or prison, even if it's you right now listening, I'm willing to bet that you're there because of a behavior that was based off of how you felt. I'm willing to put money on it. I'm willing to put any amount of money on it. Everybody that's in jail, incarcerated, did something based off of how they felt. Period. If you know something different, you let me know. So, no shade, no disrespect to anyone. I'm just talking about behavior because that's the evidence. But behavior is secondary. What's primary is the emotion. But we're not considering that if we're not looking at it. And we don't look at it most of the time because it's hard to look at. It's scary. It's uncomfortable. We're not going down that basement. It's too dark. Not me. Not I. Not today. But what if you did something different and actually went to your basement and dealt with your own stuff? So, life work. Number one, get rid of that one thing in the junk drawer. Number two, go to therapy. Yep, that's it. Experience therapy. Start looking. What are some therapists in my area? What do they do? What do they specialize in? What is therapy? Take this podcast episode and give it to somebody who you know needs some therapy. Give it to yourself. So understand, I'm joking, but I'm dead serious. Like, the only thing that stops you from going to therapy is you if you've never gone. And if you stop going, same deal. Because I notice a lot of us as humans, we are very particular about therapy and therapists, meaning they get one shot. It's kind of like 8 Mile. You get one shot. Spaghetti, spaghetti, spaghetti. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Chappelle show coming back. I'm speaking it because it's going to happen. So I'm having too much fun on this show. My point is, many of us give therapists one shot, meaning I'm going in with my boxing gloves up, meaning I'm going to defend. I don't believe this stuff anyway, but I'm going because somebody said go. So if it's not what I think it's supposed to be, then I'm out. I'll never go back. However, or if I had a bad experience, I'll never go back. However, many of us have a bad experience at McDonald's once a month and you still go. Shake machine still don't work, but you still go. We still go back, and sometimes to the same one or different ones. But when it comes to therapy, we go one time and that's it. If it wasn't a great experience, we'll never go back. And some of us have never gone and will never go because I've never considered. I would challenge you to consider therapy by considering yourself. So if you're getting rid of one thing in your junk drawer, I want you to challenge yourself to remove one thing internally from your basement. The anger and frustration you're holding towards somebody who's dead and gone, that's your shit, not theirs, because they gone. So why am I choosing to still hold somebody accountable for something they cannot do ever? You're waiting on an apology from somebody who's dead. You're waiting on an apology for somebody you don't even talk to. You're waiting on an apology for somebody who does not apologize because they haven't been taught how to apologize and they're waiting on an apology. I just need you to see the lineage of the bullshit that we deal with every day as human beings. It's ours. 2 + 2 is 5. Beliefs, that is. So the reason you go or don't go to therapy is based off of what you believe. And I want to challenge you to believe something outside of what you think you know, because you don't know until you do. So anyone talking about therapy who's never experienced it is talking about what they think, not what they know. And even if you talk to somebody who had a bad experience in therapy, that's their bad experience. It doesn't have to be yours. Because many people don't go based off of what they heard from other people who don't know. Therapy is a life-changing experience if you allow it to be, meaning I'm going to find a therapist that's a good fit. I'm going to keep doing this until I get what I need, because that's what we do in other aspects of life. We're going to go until we get it. That's my challenge to you. So I hope this has given you something to consider. I hope this is giving you something to chew on, something to think about. I hope, well, I don't hope, because hope only got Obama in office. I'm challenging you to take the information that you learned from this episode, very brief, not a lot, but take the information and apply it to do something you've never done, which could be as easy as going to therapy, which is not easy at all. As I mentioned, even as a student in the profession, I scheduled 3 appointments and canceled them all until the last one I finally went. And it changed my life. And I'm encouraging you to do the same because you're not a therapist unless you are. You're not a student unless you are. You don't have the perspective I have unless you do. So therefore, let me go try for myself. People who bother me, and I don't mind talking about it, are those people who would say, I don't eat sushi. I don't like sushi. Okay, cool. Then you ask them, hey, you ever tried sushi? You ever had it? And they say, nah, I just don't like it. That's what you sound like if you've never experienced therapy, you talk shit about it. I just need you to see you. So stop spreading lies and go for yourself and go from an experience that you've had. Um, and whether good or bad, whatever it is, go until you find what you're looking for. Meaning, sometimes finding a great therapist is like dating. You gotta kiss a few frogs every now and then to find a good fit. And the therapist that I had previously before Dr. Ho, what up, Ho? I outgrew because the therapist I have now, Dr. Ho, specializes in EMDR therapy and neurodivergence and professionalism on this level. Like she's a therapist that works with therapists and goes to therapy. So the reason I upgraded my therapist because I got diagnosed with ADHD back in April of last year. I'm celebrating a year now. What? And so once I found out more about myself, I had to level up my therapist, and that's exactly what I did. And I don't mind talking about it. So here's my challenge to everyone listening, whoever you are, because I'm sure you fit in these brackets that I'm going to talk about. If you've never experienced therapy before, I want you to reconsider. If you're in therapy now and it's kind of like, I want you to reconsider a different or new therapist. If you've been in therapy for years and you just kikiing, having fun with your therapist, you need a new therapist. Upgrade. If you're in therapy and you kicking ass in these therapy streets, congratulations, boo boo. Job well done. Keep it up. Keep going. If you know a great therapist, shout them out here. Shout them out. Comment, shout out your therapist. I mean this. Shout them out. If you're a bad therapist, if you're great, I'm talking about if you're the truth, shout it out. I need everybody to know we out here. So imagine if everybody is using this podcast to share how great they are as a therapist, and you have all these people that's never experienced therapy before, and now they're getting a shout out like, yo, who's this person? Who's that person? You got a page, a website. This is how we change the dynamics of this profession. And what I'm doing every day is changing the dynamics of the profession because my image alone speaks volumes. I'm a black male therapist who has a therapy. What the heck is Freud to me? And I don't know if you know this or not, but Freud did coke. I ain't talking about the red one when the red can. I'm talking about the white one. But nobody talks about that, but I do because it's human. He has some stuff going on in his basement, and coke helped. He liked it so much, he gave it to his clients. Come on, y'all. I need y'all to see this. And he only spent like 1 day in the US. Another conversation for another day. I just want to give y'all some facts so we can move away from these beliefs. Also, you can have Jesus and a therapist or whatever God you serve and a therapist. The purpose of what I'm sharing is a different perspective. This junk drawer analogy, 2 plus 2 is 5. These beliefs and facts, to me, it just makes sense. I would challenge you to be willing to become comfortable being uncomfortable, which means do something you've never done before related to this profession. Go for yourself, enhance what you have, shift, be willing to change. I had a junk drawer for most of my life, and it wasn't until I got married. You already heard the story. You already know about me and I and my boys, Jalen, Cameron. Big shout out to my family. When me and I got together, we both had junk drawers and we put our junk drawers together, which most couples do anyway. And me as a therapist, I don't get away with nothing. So we both are therapists, counselor educators, and we had a moment of, hey, let's process this whole junk drawer thing. Like we don't have to do this. What if we took a few weekends and just start getting rid of this junk that we don't need? And we did. So we took a few weekends and just worked together to start removing junk from our drawers. And before you know it, we were able to remove things that didn't serve us, the current us and the future us, where our junk drawer evolved from a junk drawer to a utility drawer because everything in there works. And what didn't work, we got rid of. That changed a culture, that changed a generation because our two boys will have no idea what it's like to grow up with a junk drawer. Because anybody who knows a junk drawer grew up with one because their parents passed it down to them. That's belief. So if I can hold on to a ketchup packet from 1997, you best believe I can hold on to grudge or anger from something that happened to me in 97 as well. I need you to see the parallels. That's why this podcast is so important to me. Because now I have a platform where I can share my truth in the expectation that you can use this to help you help yourself and others. If you've never considered therapy, now is the time. Find you a therapist, start doing the work, and dive into you because you working on yourself can change an entire culture and generation. I'm telling you what I know, not what I heard. If this helps you in any way, if this gives you some insight, some light, do something with it. Don't leave this knowledge here. Share it. Like, comment, subscribe, give it away, y'all. And I mean this. If it touched you in any way, hop in the Cash App, Three Parallels Podcast. Bing. Invest in the show. I'm only going to invest it back into you all. So continue to be you. Again, it's Mental Health Month. I would challenge you to start dealing with working on your mental health and your mental wellness. That's being able to say no, because last time I checked, no is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain it. That's willing to practice more self-care, meaning take care of yourself. Do something for you and you only. Step outside your comfort zone. Just do things you never done because May is also F it month. I'm not giving as many F's. If this is you, this is your breadcrumb. This is your message. Do with it what you will. This has been another episode of Three Parallels Podcast with your host, the Brother Dr. Jason Branch, where we rediscover who we were, embrace who we are, make room for who we're trying to become. If that is you, you're in the right place at the right time. And I'm telling you, May, June, July, this summer, we finna have some fun. It's going down. So make sure you like, you subscribe, you share, you get this stuff away. If this is doing something to you, for you, don't keep it to yourself. All right? And if you want to get involved, you want to connect, Gator U is available. We have open enrollment now. If you want to be part of the freshman class, hop on in, check the links, the description. Everything can be found here. So thank you for being you. Thank you for tuning in. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. Let's work on our mental health. That is it. That is all. Good night. Peace.